thing. This next chapter is going to be a huge one for Fortnite creative. Before we get into what I expect in chapter 4, let's review what we got this last season. The first update for creative mode was pretty underwhelming. All we really got was the porta bunker and a few quality of life updates. But one thing Epic didn't even mention in the update notes was 100 player lobbies, and we totally tested this thing to the T. And while it's super cool that we can have giant lobbies now like this, it's still really bugged in that the Fortnite servers just can't really handle 100 players in the same spot at once. And until Epic figures out a way to have more stable servers, lobby sizes of 50 plus are just gonna be a little bit more challenging, especially if they're heavy duty maps. The next update was much more fun as we got new battle royale items, updates to the melee designer, and one of the most underrated updates is the bouncer gallery. It's way more powerful than I first realized. But the biggest thing was the Octane, which is such an amazing vehicle. Sometimes I feel like new things we get in creative are a little bit buggy, but the Octane was so good. Like, it felt great from day one, and it can do some insane things. I'm still finding maps now that are so fun to play with the Octane. I feel like it's a huge step in the right direction for vehicles in creative mode. In the next update, we would get the cloudy condos, prefabs, and galleries. We even got some hills, which we'd been waiting on for a long time. We were introduced to the brand new direct event binding system, which will eventually replace the channel system which we know. I was shocked when we got the AI patrol path node, which gave us the ability to control exactly where our basic. It's a huge step in the right direction for AI. Throughout the season, we got some surprise updates with the goo gun and an update where we got the Hunter's Haven galleries. And while those feel like small updates, it's these kind of things that provide us with more tools to work with. And I personally love both of these. But then Epic came in with an amazing update where we got a few little things like an update to the heat map. We got all of the convergence pieces, which are awesome. The big thing we got was Creative Royale, where we could play around on the Battle Royale island. And while it was a little bit disappointing because we couldn't really build on it without using a glitch, the game modes that have come out of it have been really fun to watch, especially as I watch some of the Battle Royale YouTubers using the game mode to have more fun in Fortnite, which has been a big piece that has been missing for a while, I think. And then the last update seemed a little bit underwhelming as we got the dial-a-drop, but the new bounce and launch pads that we got were actually pretty dang cool. And I had a lot of fun playing with them, and I'm sure I'll use them a lot in the future. So all in all, I would say this last season was actually a pretty solid update season for creative mode. We've definitely had better ones in the past, but considering Epic has been working so hard on Creative 2.0, I feel like we're still getting a lot of stuff in 1.0, so I would say this was a solid season. So speaking of 2.0, let's talk about that for a minute. We got news that 2.0 was going to be pushed back from a December release to a January release. But we also learned that Fortnite is going to allow publishing for everyone that goes through the submission process, and that we will be getting a new creator economy with the launch of 2.0. So this is honestly the biggest part of chapter 4 for us. It's going to be the release of this whole new system, which is really going to flip our whole creative world upside down. Now, I hope you guys won't feel like Elmo here and feel like, the world's on fire! Because it's gonna be a challenge to get used to the new tools, I think. I don't want to pontificate too much on like what the tools are gonna be, because I'm really looking forward to seeing what Epic's going to put out. Whoa, Peter Griffin here is struggling. And I know a lot of you guys are worried about what 2.0 is gonna be for console players and for PC players, and I don't know the answers to all that stuff yet. I think this is gonna be a really fun year for those that are willing to learn and grow. It might be a challenge for those that hate change, because big change is coming. But for those that are willing to change and adapt, I feel like creative mode is going to reach whole new levels that we've been dreaming about for the last 2 to 3 years that this new system is going to make possible. And there's so much potential with this new system to launch so many of your guys' futures into gaming, whether it's making maps in creative mode like this or learning tools that are like Unreal Engine, or you can just go get a job and work for a company like Epic. Like, this is a way for you to really dive into the gaming world as like your career. But before this comes out in January or February or whenever it comes out, what about in between then? What about Creative 1.0 in the next 2 months? What's gonna happen? Let's talk about it. Now, I usually do a video like this before every season, and last season I did one like this, and pretty much everything I talked about in that video, we didn't get this last season. Now, one of the biggest things I talked about in the last season was Creative Royale, and we did get that, to be fair. Because there's so much we didn't get, hopefully this doesn't sound too repetitive. The number one thing I'm hoping they finally release to us is rotation abilities on the prop mover. We know this is available because we've seen it in different creative maps already. We just don't all have it yet. This is one of those updates where they could just flip the switch and that would create all sorts of fun content for all of us. So I pray we get that in December. The next thing I hope we get very soon is the prop version of the sequencer. There's been rumored that they're working on this, and as you know, they've already made prop versions of the mutator zone and the damage zone. Now we just need it for the sequencer. And I feel like this is a huge game-changing device, because imagine if you could pick up a sequencer and then rotate it and have it shoot out wherever you want. Now also imagine if you could could change the visualization from this like blue field or red field into a moving wall or like a laser or something. It just opens up a lot of possibilities for puzzles, for boss fights. Like, it's one of these devices that I think could really add to creative mode quite a bit. Now, imagine with this device as well, if you could put a prop mover on it, like that opens up a ton of possibilities to have the moving sequencer going around. Oh my gosh, it'd be so fun. Now, there's been some leaks for two devices I'm kind of excited about. One is this cinematic device, which I believe we saw in the Dragon Ball Z maps, where it locks your camera position and forces the player to look in a certain direction. It makes it so you can have more cinematic scenes and guide your player through your map. There's also been leaks for an animated character device. So that means you could take the character device like this, move their leg or arm or head in whatever direction you want, and then record a sequence with it or something. I don't know, guys. I'm just making this up. I don't know how it would actually work. But that would be such a game-changing device if we could actually animate the characters and choose more skins here and like really make interactive experiences with AI. Oh man, that would be huge. I don't know how realistic this device actually is. It sounds pretty complex to me, but if we got that in the next month or two, like, we would be having so much fun. And then there's the chair device. Guys, we've been waiting on a chair device where we can actually sit down in it. There's even been some footage of this supposed chair device. I'm starting to believe that it doesn't even exist and that all of these leaked videos are just fabricated, because I don't know why it's taking so long to get this chair device, but if it's actually real, I'm hoping we get it in December. Next, we need to get some additions to the melee designer. Right now, we can only add swords and hammers, but we've seen videos of different spears and axes and all sorts of other things, and it's time that those got added to this manager. Like, if we don't get these before 2.0 comes out, I don't know what to say. We gotta have them. The next thing I really want in creative mode is the Colombo spawner that's been leaked. Colombo is one of the most beloved characters in Fortnite, and we need him in our maps. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Now, there's a few other things we've been hearing about in the past, like an analytics device, a prop spawner, whatever that is, a teleporter pad device, and then we've got things we've been talking about forever that we still don't have, things like the gravity gun, the emote controller we've seen in so many different live events, and of course the toy spawner, which we've also seen all over the place, but we don't have access to it. It's even some sort of a crowd device. I don't know, guys. There's a lot of things we've been hearing about that we just haven't seen yet. Okay, now I try to really think hard about some changes I'd love to see that are easy for Epic to make. Well, I assume they're easy. I just don't want to distract them too much from the 2.0 stuff. Let's start with the barrier device here. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I want more barrier styles. Right now, we only have a very few to pick from, and there's some of these are great. Like, I love the dreamy sky. Like, I've used it so much in my Backrooms map, but I need more sky styles. Like, I need more cloud options, storm options, sci-fi options, all sorts of different options would be awesome in the barrier. Similarly, in the Skydome device, they need to add the camera filters that we have in the general setting. Like, imagine if we could have this sepia feel here, but it's only in the Skydome. Or to be able to have a black and white map, but then when you run in the Skydome, it turns back to normal. And in the same fashion, I'd love to see more water options. We have this beautiful dark blue, but I need some light blues. I need some tepid waters. I would love to see all of the cube water options put into the water device. And then finally, I feel like I've talked about this so many times, we need more radio options and speaker options. Just need more sound effects. The sound is such an important part of a map, and currently it's just really, I don't know, it's lacking. What do you think? I can't wait for chapter 4, and for 2.0, it's gonna be a life-changing chapter.